It's almost funny, isn't it? How many different apps we have to jump between just to find one answer at work.
Oh, tell me about it.
Research actually suggests you're probably juggling, what, 4 to 6 tools just to track down one piece of information?
Yeah, easily. Think
Yeah.
about the last time you needed something specific. You checked email, shared drives, project software, maybe even pinged someone on Teams.
Exactly. It's like this constant digital scavenger hunt. It gets exhausting.
It really does. And the impact on just your day-to-day is pretty big. All that switching, it doesn't just eat time.
No.
It's frustrating. You feel like you're always chasing things. And maybe worse, you might miss some really key insight because it's buried somewhere you didn't even think to look.
Right. Totally. And, well, that's kind of where this thing, Google Agentspace, seems to fit in. The idea is having a way to tap into the whole company's brain power, all that good stuff stuck in different places.
Right, breaking down those silos we were just talking about.
Yeah, Agentspace wants to be that central key, your shortcut to finding expertise across the whole enterprise.
So for this deep dive, that's our goal, really. We want to explore exactly how Google Agentspace is, well, designed to help people like you find information faster, maybe automate some routine tasks.
The stuff that bogs you down.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff that bogs you down, freeing you up for, the more important work.
Okay, so to really get under the hood here, we've looked at a bunch of stuff, Google Cloud blog posts, some YouTube videos from Google Cloud, one with a product expert, which was pretty insightful.
Yeah, this is good.
And even a summary focused on how it could work in the power and energy sector specifically.
Right.
So we're going to unpack its main capabilities. It seems like it boils down to 3 key things: unified search across everything, AI for analysis and summaries, and then these AI agents doing automation. Sound about right?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's dive in. Maybe let's start by really digging into that first problem you mentioned, the siloed information.
Yeah, the pain point.
That pain point. You described searching everywhere, and honestly, most companies are dealing with this huge, sprawling digital mess. Think about all the platforms. Jira for projects, Teams or Slack for chat, Google Workspace or Microsoft 365 for docs and email, maybe SharePoint for internal sites, ServiceNow for IT tickets, SAP for, well, everything else.
Wow. Yeah, the list just keeps going.
It really does.
Just thinking about logging into all those, searching each one differently. It's tiring just talking about it.
Exactly. And the real cost isn't just the clicks, it's the time. How many minutes every single day just switching, trying search terms, maybe finding nothing?
Yeah, time you could be doing actual work. And like you said, maybe the connection, the insight you need is sitting right there.
But in the wrong system.
Right, in a system you didn't check or just didn't have time to dig into.
Precisely. And it's not just, annoying for you personally. It can actually slow down the whole company. Well, if info isn't easy to find, you might end up doing work someone else already did. Or you miss out on lessons learned from an old project. Or you just don't connect with the one colleague who's already solved the problem you're facing. It creates friction, slows things down.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's unpack Agentspace itself then. How does it actually try to fix this? What's the core idea?
Okay, so at its heart, Agentspace is basically a platform. It brings together a few key things. The reasoning power of Google's Gemini models.
Which are those sophisticated AIs, right? They understand language, process info.
Exactly. Really advanced AI brains. It combines that with Google Quality Search, which we all know is pretty good, and applies it to all your company's data. And this is key, regardless of where that data actually lives.
Okay. So it doesn't matter if it's in Google Drive or SharePoint or somewhere else.
That's the goal. The main idea is to let you, the user, handle complex tasks with just one prompt, instead of that digital scavenger hunt we talked about.
So it's like a central connector,
Yeah.
linking up all those separate digital islands.
You got it. And importantly, this is all built on Google Cloud. So you get that solid, secure infrastructure, the enterprise-level security, the IT controls you need when you're dealing with company data.
Okay, yeah, that security piece is definitely crucial. People need to trust it. So how exactly does Agentspace unlock all this expertise? The stuff we read mentioned 3 main ways.
That's right. The first big area is about totally new ways to interact with your data using something called Notebook LM.
Notebook LM. I think I've heard of that. But this is like an enterprise version.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's now being rolled out as Notebook LM Plus for businesses with some extra features, but the core concept is the same. You upload your information, could be documents, videos, audio recordings, website links.
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah, all sorts. And Notebook LM uses AI to analyze it all, synthesize it, help you find connections and insights you might have missed otherwise.
Oh, I remember seeing something about like podcast-style audio summaries. That sounds potentially really useful.
It does, doesn't it? Imagine listening to a meeting recording hours long sometimes.
Ugh.
This could potentially generate a concise audio overview. Great for catching up while you're commuting or doing something else.
That could be a serious time saver.
Definitely. And they mentioned it can automatically create these audio summaries. Plus, they're experimenting with integrating Gemini 2.0 Flash, which should mean even faster processing, maybe more nuanced analysis down the line.
Okay. And there was that example, right? Analyzing some fictional companies' symbol quarterly results.
Yeah, and generating that audio overview, it shows the potential for anyone dealing with dense reports like financial stuff. Instead of hours reading, upload it, get the key takeaways in audio format. Pretty neat.
Absolutely. Saves a ton of reading time.
And we also saw some user feedback, particularly from Deloitte consultants. They're saying Notebook LM really speeds up how they get insights from like big research reports or long meeting recordings.
Right.
They even said the AI sometimes spotted subtle things, important nuances that a human might have missed on the first pass.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just faster, it might even be, well, deeper in some ways.
It points to the power of AI in just sifting through massive amounts of information efficiently, yeah.
Okay, that's a compelling picture for Notebook LM. So that's way one. Better analysis of stuff you already have. What's the second way Agentspace unlocks expertise?
The second piece is all about making it easier to find information across the whole company. So Agentspace gives you this company-branded search agent. Think of it as your central go-to place for answers.
Like a super smart company search bar.
Kind of, but way more powerful. It's built on Google search tech, obviously, but tuned for the enterprise. It offers conversational help, so you can ask complex questions using natural language, like you'd ask a coworker.
Okay, not just keywords.
Right. And it can be proactive, too, maybe suggesting things based on what you're working on. It can even take actions for you in other connected systems.
Really? Like what kind of actions?
Well, the example we saw was finding JRA tickets and then sending an email summary all from within Agentspace. And the real strength is searching across both unstructured data, documents, emails, and structured data, like stuff in databases or tables.
That's huge. Usually those are totally separate worlds for searching.
Exactly. And for global companies, you mentioned this earlier, it has built-in translation,
Right.
which is a big deal for breaking down language barriers.
Yeah.
Plus, they're simplifying connecting to all those common third-party apps. They have pre-built connectors for Confluence, Google Drive, Jira, SharePoint, ServiceNow.
The usual suspects.
The usual suspects. The idea is to stop you from having to jump between them all just to piece together an answer.
So I could just ask Agentspace a question, and it checks Jira and Confluence and my emails all at once.
That's the vision. It searches securely across all connected systems and gives you a combined answer. Like that JIRA ticket example. Find the tickets, summarize them, email the boss. Boom. Done.
That sounds amazing for project teams. I remember reading Nokia and Deloitte were pretty keen on this specific feature.
Yeah, both of them really emphasized how this could unify all their scattered information and just give employees relevant answers quickly. For big companies with tons of data, that single entry point is a massive advantage.
Makes sense.
And to make it even easier, they're putting it right into Chrome Enterprise. So you can access Agentspace Search directly from the Chrome search box you're already using.
Whoa, okay. That's super convenient. Just type your question right there in the browser bar.
Mm-hmm. Your company's knowledge base, just a few keystrokes away.
You also mentioned something about an enterprise knowledge graph. What's that about?
Think of the knowledge graph as the intelligence behind it all. It maps out and understands how everything connects employees, documents they've worked on, data they access.
Okay.
Because it understands these relationships, Agentspace can give you much better, more personalized results. It gets the context of your work, your team, who you collaborate with. It's not just matching keywords, it's understanding the meaning.
Got it. So it knows why a certain document might be relevant to me specifically.
Precise.
Okay, that clears up the information discovery part. Now, the third aspect, and maybe the most, futuristic sounding, these expert agents that automate stuff.
Yeah, this is where it moves beyond just finding and analyzing. Agentspace acts as a launch point for custom AI agents. These agents apply generative AI, but in a very specific, contextual way for business tasks.
So not just a general chatbot.
Oh, no. The idea is to empower people in different departments, marketing, finance, legal, engineering, HR, whoever, to do research better, draft content faster, and automate those repetitive tasks, especially the ones that involve multiple steps across different systems.
Okay. And how do people find and use these agents?
There's going to be an agent gallery. Think of it like an app store, but for these AI agents, you'll find pre-built ones from Google or maybe internal teams and custom ones people build themselves.
And how do they build them? Do you need to be a coder?
That's the key part, mostly no. They're building a low-code agent designer. This is super important because it means people without deep programming skills can create and tweak their own agents for their specific needs.
Okay, that is critical.
Yeah.
You don't want this just stuck with the tech teams. Someone in HR or marketing needs to be able to build something useful for them.
Exactly. It makes the automation power accessible. And the examples were pretty concrete. Business analysts building agents to spot trends and make presentations, HR streamlining onboarding, like helping with 401k choices, engineers creating agents to find bugs proactively, marketers using them to analyze campaign data and suggest improvements.
Those all sound really practical. And Google's building some agents themselves too, right?
Yeah, they mentioned a couple interesting ones. A deep research agent that pulls info from internal and external sources to create detailed reports. They showed an example researching GDPR compliance. Pretty complex stuff.
Okay.
And then an idea generation agent, basically a brainstorming partner to help develop and evaluate new ideas.
An AI brainstorming buddy. That's cool.
Isn't it? So the agent gallery is where you find all these Google ones, internal ones, maybe partner ones from the Google Cloud Marketplace.
Right.
And the agent designer is that no-code tool for making your own. They also briefly mentioned something called the agent-to-agent protocol, A2A.
What's that?
It sounds like a way for agents from different platforms to talk to each other and work together. Still early days, maybe, but it hints at a future where different AIs could collaborate on really complex tasks.
Wow, okay. That does sound like the next level, different specialist AIs teaming up. Now, speaking of specific applications, we looked at that summary for the power and energy sector. That feels like an industry with unique challenges. Tons of technical data, safety focus.
Absolutely. It's a great test case. Power and energy companies deal with massive amounts of technical docs, strict procedures, safety is paramount, lots of regulations. Agentspace's capabilities seem to line up really well with those needs.
So let's tick through some of those use cases. First one seemed like a quick win, automating technical document search and summaries.
Yeah, think about all those safety manuals, operating procedures, regulatory docs. Agentspace, with its connectors and AI understanding, can index all that. So an engineer or technician can just ask a question in plain English. What's the safety check for procedure X? And get a quick, relevant summary. Instead of spending ages searching huge PDFs. Imagine how critical that speed could be in an urgent situation.
Definitely. Huge time saver, potential lifesaver. What about finding people with specific expertise? That seems vital in such a specialized field.
Totally. By connecting to employee directories, project histories, maybe even communication patterns, Agentspace could help you find the right person.
Okay.
So if you hit a really specific technical problem, the agent could say, hey, Sarah in the Houston office worked on something similar last year. Here's her contact. Or check this document she wrote. Makes finding help much faster.
That's powerful. And the idea of checking SOPs, standard operating procedures, and maybe even flagging when things don't follow them.
Crucial for safety and consistency, right? Agentspace could give instant answers to, how do I do step 5 of this procedure? But more advanced, it could potentially integrate with incident reporting systems.
How would that work?
Imagine an AI reading an incident report, comparing it to the official SOP, and maybe flagging, hey, step 3 seems to have been missed here, or providing guidance based on the report's specifics. A tool for learning and preventing repeats.
Like a 247 procedural expert assistant.
Okay.
What about everyday stuff like IT or operational support tickets?
Agentspace could be a great first line of defense there. Search the knowledge base, FAQs, guides, answer common questions immediately.
Right.
People describe their problem naturally, the agent understands. If it is complex, the agent gathers the context and routes it smartly to the right human team. Saves time for everyone, faster fixes.
Makes sense. And managing big, complex projects. Lots of those in energy, I bet.
For sure. Connect Agentspace to the project tools Jira, shared drives, email threads, and team members can just ask for updates. What's the status of task Y? Where's the latest design doc? Get answers without bugging the project manager or hunting through different apps. Keeps everyone aligned.
Okay, those are pretty grounded. The summary also mentions some more advanced possibilities, like monitoring reservoir performance.
Yeah, that gets more sophisticated. You'd integrate Agentspace with industrial systems like SCADA and data historians.
Oh.
The AI agent could then analyze real-time data, compare it to models, and alert engineers to anomalies or potential issues in how a reservoir is performing. Plus, it could quickly pull up relevant geological data or past performance reports for context.
Wow. And predictive maintenance, that's always a big goal.
Definitely. Connect to sensor data from equipment, IoT platforms, and maintenance logs. The AI looks for patterns indicating a potential failure. So you can schedule maintenance before something breaks, reducing downtime, saving money, keeping things running safely. And again, easy access via search to manuals or repair histories.
What about drilling operations? That's core business. Very complex.
Agentspace could potentially integrate with geological data, drilling logs, planning software, help optimize the drilling path. During drilling, it could analyze real-time data, flag deviations, maybe even search internal knowledge for best practices from similar past wells, real-time recommendations for the drilling crew.
That sounds incredibly valuable. And regulatory compliance. Always a headache, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. Huge effort. Agentspace could connect to production databases, emissions monitors, safety logs, maybe external regulatory sites.
Right.
Train the AI on the rules, map them to the data sources, and it could automate collecting data and even drafting compliance reports. Big reduction in manual work, potentially better accuracy.
That would free up a lot of expert time. And the last one, autonomous supply chain optimization. Sounds ambitious.
Very. Integrate with SCM, ERP systems, analyze demand, monitor inventory, look at logistics. The idea is the agent could, within set limits, maybe make some automated decisions on ordering materials or optimizing transport. Plus, give managers a clear, real-time view of the whole supply chain.
It really does sound like it could touch almost every part of a power and energy company, from daily tasks to major strategic operations.
Okay, stepping back from the specific use cases, we heard about general excitement and adoption. Who's actually kicking the tires on Agentspace? Yeah, there's definitely buzz. We're seeing interest from a real mix of big names across different industries. The materials mentioned: Banco BV, Deloitte, Nokia, Decathlon, Gordon Food Service, Wells Fargo. Quite a list.
That's a broad range. Suggests the core problem is pretty universal.
I think so. And what are these companies saying? What benefits are they seeing or hoping for?
Well, the themes that keep coming up are things like boosting employee productivity, less time searching, more time doing, faster decisions because the data is easier to get and understand, better collaboration, and just fundamentally making better use of all the knowledge the company already has. Like those Deloitte consultants specifically mentioned Notebook LM saving them serious time on research. Gordon Food Service likes that employees can search multiple systems in one go now.
Right.
Banco BV is excited about using the AI for search and analysis on critical systems. FairPrice in Singapore wants to build a company-wide research platform to cut down manual work.
So it really boils down to that core promise. Break down the silos, get the right info to the right people faster. That seems to be hitting home.
It does. Now, obviously, with any platform like this, especially with AI touching company data, security and compliance are massive concerns. What's Google saying about that side of Agentspace?
Yeah. Absolutely critical. They emphasize it's built on Google Cloud's secure infrastructure, which is already pretty robust. They offer lots of controls, role-based access control, VPC service controls for network isolation, integration with existing identity management systems.
Okay, the standard enterprise stuff.
Right, the table stakes. But also important for regulated industries, they mentioned FedRAMP high authorization for U.S. public sector work.
That's a significant one.
Definitely. Plus, data residency options, keeping data in specific regions like the US, EU, UK, Canada, Japan, Australia, with more coming. And compliance with things like IPEA for healthcare and other security standards like CloudSec 4. They seem very focused on ticking those boxes.
That's reassuring. Enterprises won't touch it otherwise, especially in regulated fields. Okay, last piece. What about just using it? Is it easy for a regular employee to pick up? You mentioned the no-code designer, which helps.
Yeah, ease of use seems to be a major goal. That Chrome integration is part of it, making it accessible right where people work. The no-code agent designer is huge for letting non-tech folks build automations. And the basic search experience is designed to feel familiar, like using Google search. The aim isn't to add another complex system with a steep learning curve.
So hopefully not something that requires weeks of training.
Exactly. They want it to feel like a natural, smarter extension of the tools people already use. More capability for finding, analyzing, automating, but without overwhelming the user. Focus on empowerment.
Well, this has been really illuminating. A proper deep dive into Google Agentspace. It definitely seems aimed squarely at that huge common problem. Information chaos and siloed data.
Absolutely. It brings together that unified search, the AI analysis like Notebook LM, and then the potential of these expert agents for automation. It paints a pretty compelling picture for how work could change.
And for you listening, just think for a second how something like this might impact your day. Being able to instantly find that thing you need. Get the gist of a long document in minutes. Automate some of those annoying, repetitive tasks.
It really makes you think about how AI is changing the workplace, doesn't it? How could a platform that unifies information and adds intelligence like this fundamentally shift how your own organization operates, how it innovates? It's a big question.
Definitely something to ponder. If you were intrigued by all this and want to see how Google Agent Space might help your own company tap into its collective brainpower, well, I'd suggest checking out their early access program. Might be worth exploring.
Yeah, it could genuinely be a key to unlocking a more efficient, more informed way of working for your whole team, your whole organization.